cool. Cool. Alrighty. First new post since the movie premiere, which was 2 Saturdays ago. How has life been since then? How was the movie premiere? First of many is what I've been saying. Yeah, what's up? Let's go. Let's see. Movie premiere was cool. Movie premiere was definitely cool. I finished the night feeling a lot of different feelings, I guess. Um, I'm really happy with the turnout, and it was really cool to see everyone dressed up and out for this specific event, which was the premiere of this film, Skyfly, which is now out in streaming on Amazon Prime, Google Play, YouTube, and Apple TV. So you can go check out the movie Skyfly if you haven't already. But the movie premiere itself was, it felt almost nostalgic, as if the experience had already happened. And that happens with me sometimes. Sometimes I'll go through an experience and it'll feel as if I've already done it and I'm already reflecting on the experience even as it's happening. And I think that's kind of what happened at that premiere, where, yeah, there was excitement the night prior because, you know, it was the first one that I'd ever gone to, first red carpet. Came out to Los Angeles to become a movie star, and this was the first time that I got to see myself up on the big screen in a feature-length film, and it's a significant role. I played the main antagonist. So this was like a big moment in my career in Los Angeles, in Hollywood. So, you know, seeing myself up on the big screen, it was cool. I gave a great performance. I got to co-produce the film, so, you know, my hands were in every scene. And I guess I'll just come out and say it. I didn't feel as satisfied or even accomplished as I thought I would once the night was over. I think I was expecting some kind of like pat on the back from me once it was over. You know, like maybe I look at myself in the mirror once I get home and smile at the accomplishment, but I didn't have that desire. Instead, it was more like, yeah, this is how things should be. And there's a stronger desire to show what I'm capable of. Yeah. Yeah, that's what that premiere did for me. Seeing myself up on the big screen and knowing that that's where I belong, all it left me feeling is like, okay, well, let's really do it. Let's get up on the big screen as often as possible. Let's challenge ourselves. Let's commit to roles and tasks and responsibilities that are able to display what I am capable of. That's what the premiere did for me. It just left me with a hunger that was stronger than before that night. That night ended and it was just like, man, we really, really need to dominate in everything that I do. Everything that I do, I want to be the best at. I want to shine the brightest. I want my talent and my skill and my passion to be so overwhelmingly powerful that it can't be ignored by anyone. And I haven't said that out loud to anyone, so this is my first time actually disclosing that. Am I motivated by my ego? Definitely. I am definitely ego driven. If I didn't have an ego, I don't know if I would be in Los Angeles. I don't know where I would be. I would be anywhere. Fucking homeless. I don't know. I don't know. It's such an integral part of my personality that it's almost impossible to imagine who I would be, where I would be, without my ego. Now, a lot of people have a negative connotation with the word ego, to be ego driven, to be selfish, and you know, move with your own motives, yada yada yada. I've never looked at my ego as a negative aspect of my personality. You just have to manage it correctly. So, I attach my ego to the things that I want to be great at. And everything else, my ego is no attachment. So let's say I'm playing a pickup game of basketball with some friends. My ego is not attached to dominating in that basketball game because I don't really have any skill and I don't really feel the need to improve my basketball skills because there's no chance of me being better than Michael Jordan. So what's the point? That's how my brain works. Now, take the natural bodybuilding, for example, becoming the greatest natural bodybuilder in the world. That's something that can be done. I can do that. And so my ego is attached to that accomplishment. My ego is also attached to becoming the greatest storyteller in the world. And that's even a bit more vague of a goal than others that might be articulated. But that's a legitimate goal that I have for myself. Finishing this story, my life, and having it identified as me being one of the greatest, if not the greatest, storyteller of all time. And what is the story I want to tell? What if the most powerful being in the universe was a human? Through the telling of this story, I will give that answer, what that would look like. And that's where my passion comes from. To me, I think that's an incredibly profound and interesting, captivating, and also important story. Because, when you think about the concept, we have religion, we have spirituality, we have conspiracy theorists who question if there's life outside of this earth. But what if the most powerful being in the universe existed on this planet? And all we had to do was just tap into that ability. What if he was human? Just like everyone else here. So whatever he/I am able to accomplish in theory and in application, in real life application, you would also be able to accomplish those same things or parallel accomplishments. Because the beauty of the world and the beauty of life is that we don't all have the same goals. Not specifically. Maybe in general, we all have the desire to experience happiness and sustain happiness for as long as we can. Happiness can be fulfilled in a multitude of different ways, and that's where, the individual experience of life comes into play. Me personally, my happiness is experienced through accomplishments, doing great things, expressing my potential in reality, knowing what I'm capable of, and then seeing it actually through to fruition is such a great feeling for me. And time with women. Time with women. So those are definitely the things that make me happy. I'll also include my son. I'll throw my son in there. It's weird for me to include my son because he was unplanned. So he wasn't part of the story, and then He kind of came into my life because I had sex with a woman, and she decided to keep the seed that occurred. But now he's a part of my life, and it's weird because he feels so separate from my goals, because it's like this is a separate entity that was not part of the plan, but he is essentially the only important person to me besides myself. So that's something very interesting. And not to get on the whole thing, but recently I've been thinking how important it is to me for him to thrive, strive or thrive. How important it is for him to thrive. And I want to create the opportunities in his life for him to flourish in the best way that he can. Because when I think about it, when I really think about it, if the story is the most powerful being in the universe is a human, and that human's name is Sean Fury, then his son really should be a healthy, smart, and just an overall, he's good. His son is good. His son can't end up in the streets drug addicted. Like, we can't have a bad ending for my son is what I'm trying to say. Because in what universe would the most powerful being have a son that doesn't flourish? That's kind of how I look at it. And then I take it a step further and I ask myself, well, what is within my ability to actually control? What does it mean to be the most powerful being in the universe? What can I control? Can I actually control the universe itself? If that were the case, then everything would go as it should. I would have mainly positive experiences. The negative experiences that I have in life would be presented to me for the purpose of learning a lesson, growing, evolving from those experiences, and then applying them in the future so that they don't happen again. And that's kind of what life has been up until now, so it would seem like I'm right on track. And at the end of the day, it really is just a mentality or a perspective. We're all living the same life, and to walk around with the thought that you're the most powerful force in the universe definitely gives you a feeling of empowerment that I think, for shits and giggles, why wouldn't you want that? That's honestly how I look at it. I meet people on my day-to-day basis, and they have issues with confidence, and they don't know. They'll literally talk to me. A person will talk to me and be impressed with how certain I am of the future. The way that you talk with such conviction, as if the things that you want to have happen have no choice but to happen. And I really admire that about you, Sean. It's a healthy delusion. And I do know it is a delusion. To make up anything in your head and say, I'm the greatest this, and have it be unproven until it's proven, what does it all mean? Does it become a self-fulfilling prophecy just by saying it out loud and actually putting yourself through the steps to see it through? Perhaps. There was a quote that I came across a couple of days ago, I think by John Steinbeck, which is actually very interesting, and I'll tell you why in a second. The quote was, and I can actually read it because I took a picture of it. I hope no one heard that. Hey, listen, we're all human. The quote. The writer must believe that what he is doing is the most important thing in the world, and he must hold to this illusion even when he knows it is not true. John Steinbeck. What I find interesting about that quote coming from that author is I have always thought that John Steinbeck is a bit of a snooze when it comes to his writing. I've never really been captivated by what he writes. I think his prose is a bit stiff, and I just don't get excited about his work. But And it goes to show, even when he's writing these boring pieces of fiction, Grapes of Wrath, that one with the Dust Bowl that I can't remember the name of, um, he's saying that like when he's working on this stuff, he has to believe that it's the most important thing happening in the world. Even if he knows it's not true, he has to believe it. And I completely relate to that. I wake up and go to sleep every single day thinking that this, what's happening, what I'm doing, this story that I'm interested in telling is the most important story in the planet, on the planet. I honestly do. I really, that's the thought that I have, and it's recurring. And I am driven by an unyielding passion and need to tell this story, because if I don't, honestly, I can't even think of an alternative. And it goes back to like, what would my life be if I didn't have an ego? It all kind of falls in line with like, I don't know who I would be if I didn't have these things inside me that have to come out, that I have to express, that I have to get out into the world. So that's where we are. A writer, an actor, oops, a producer, a bodybuilder, a storyteller. All the things that I am, and all the things that I want to be the best at. How's the bodybuilding going? Bodybuilding's going good. I think I would like to start figuring out a way to make content more consistently that's also captivating. So I feel like that's my next hurdle to jump over in terms to my bodybuilding career. But the cut's going well. I had food poisoning last week, which sucked. But I ended up losing about 5 pounds. Hopefully it wasn't muscle. This week I'm back into it. Feel focused. We're 8 weeks out from our first competition in June. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward at this point. Eat the food, do the workouts, practice your posing. I met Greg Doucette yesterday for the first time. I really want to feature him in the documentary, since he's just a wealth of knowledge and has his own opinions on natural bodybuilders compared to enhanced, and the fake natty epidemic, the fake natty craze that's on social media. So I'm really looking forward to getting his perspective in the documentary, and I told him about the project. So he's down. Met his partner. She was very nice. I think her name was Marie. So yeah, I would say that's all the news that's fit to print. I think I could go into further detail if I wanted to, but I don't feel the need. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. See you in the next one.